This is coffee number 5. I'm your host, Lara Schmoisman.
Hi guys, welcome back to coffee number 5. My coffee's ready, warm, and actually maybe today is getting a little cold because in the pre-show I had so much to say and I really was enjoying this combo. But now we're finally here and we're with you and we have a lot more to share. So I want to tell you a little more about my last month. It was really busy. I was from Miami and then I had the honor to be invited at eTail as a moderator. I had a wonderful time. It was my first time at eTail, and I have to say that even it was a little overwhelming. So I want you to take my notes and give it to you. So when you go to eTail and you know what to do and you're a little more prepared than I was. So I invited Lena. Hi, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. We loved having our eTail, and I'm so excited to be here to hopefully recap it and make it nice and easy to understand as well.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh my
big
God.
show.
I wasn't prepared for such a big thing. I was okay. And I was like, okay, so who is going to eTail? Let's start with that. And I want to know a lot more about you, Elena, but let's start talking about eTail. What is
Yes.
eTail for? Who is it?
eTail is the premier conference community. It's actually, we just rebranded. So now we're not only specializing in conferences, which you might know us as the premier conference community, but now we are a 365 year-round community designed with your growth in mind to power your growth. So what that means is we want to keep our retail, e-commerce, and technology community connected all year round with things like dinners, research, and different local events, just to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to have these great unfiltered conversations like you experienced at eTail, like you will continue to experience being a part of the eTail community now. So that is really what eTail is all about. And what you recently got to check out yourself and what we just came back from is eTail Palm Springs, which happened in beautiful, sunny, gorgeous Palm Springs. I
It
know that
was warm. I have to
it
tell
was
you, I
it was a
wasn't
little bit
prepared for
warm.
that.
It was a little bit warm, and sometimes it gets hot, and sometimes you would actually be surprised. We've gotten a chilly couple of years before, but no matter what, I think that the palm trees are always beautiful in the
Oh, the
distance.
scenery is beautiful. And
It's
you
so
guys do such a good job because it's busy and there is a lot of, I mean, for me particularly was very special because I got to put the face to the name and a lot of people that I communicate with, partners of amazing platforms that they are. But also we're going to talk about the conferences because they were really unique and well chosen. I was seriously
Oh, I'm
impressed
so
with
glad.
that.
Okay, amazing.
The-
I love to hear that.
and then I like her vendors. I mean, it was really well done. It was big, but at the same time, you had time to go through everything. And I really loved that you guys took care of every detail. I have to tell you, there is something that I never seen in any other conference, that you have a snack places in the middle.
Yeah, you need snacks. I mean, fed people are happy people. Especially at a conference where there's so much brain energy being used,
Oh my God, and it's tiring.
it's tiring to be connecting with people, and we want you to have the utmost best experience possible. So we keep you fed and we keep you not thirsty.
I
Those are our
always
two
say that.
mottos.
I always say when I go to traders to not Trader Joe's, that's overwhelming
Trader
too for
Joe's.
me. But when I go to trade shows, I always say that you have to have the switch on and your head needs to be making connections all the time. Do I know this person? Where I know it? And there are so many times, and I apologize to everyone I ever did it, that I say, I know you, but I don't know where from.
Right, like I could recognize the face, and that's what's nice too about the conference circuit and being on the eTail specific one and being part of that community is that you start to recognize everyone. And like you said, the vendors, I think that's something that we really are tried and true by, is that we need them to be part of the conversation. The retail ecosystem doesn't happen without our wonderful vendors, and that's the reason that retailers are able to advance at scale and and grow in the way that we're all trying to grow. So we love to just include everyone in the conversation, and that's why
And
I'm really glad to hear that
I
you love
didn't feel that I was sold by the retailers. I felt like it was really part creating a community. And let me tell you about my platform and see if I'm a good fit for you.
Yeah, exactly. And just breaking down those barriers, and what is the platform, and kind of actually help and cutting through some of that expo floor noise, because we know it can be overwhelming. So we love just the down to earth people that also come and attend the show.
Okay,
And we see,
I'm gonna give my 2 cents here for you that
please.
you're an entrepreneur out there, or a business owner. There are a lot of platforms out there, so you don't have to buy into everything. You need to buy in what it makes sense. So it's really important that you get the guidance from an agency, or someone who knows what is best for your brand, or get demos. Everyone will be happy to show you and to talk to you. And that's really important, that why and who should go to eTail, and or who need to go to events, because you get to know what's out there and what people are talking about.
I completely agree. And I think that people steer clear sometimes of demos, but I love a good demo because it really allows your finger to be on the pulse of the technology available to you. And I don't know if you got to check out the Innovation Theater at all and see some of like the live demos kind of happening of different technology. It's really unique. And we actually had, hundreds of people on the show floor watching technology innovation happen in real life, which is so special and important. And I think it's a really unique aspect of the eTail community.
That's fantastic. So, Lena, tell me about you. What do you do at the eTail?
Me. So I am the head of marketing. So as we connect all of these amazing omni-channel retailers and marketers, I myself am an omni-channel marketer, overseeing the e-tail strategy across the portfolio. So I handle everything from email marketing to social marketing to everything in between. Like you were mentioning before, right before this call, search everywhere optimization, and
Yes.
making sure that we are being seen by as many eyes as possible, as well as, and this is just bringing it back to the panel that you moderated, the TikTok panel at eTail, just making sure that we're keeping up with the creative need in the market right now, because it seems like we can't pump it out fast enough, and we
And
want to
that's
be
what
sure.
I want to ask you. How do you, because probably now you're working on Boston, right?
Yes, go switch from
And
to
things
Boston.
can change from here to, technology goes so fast, this ecosystem moves so fast, that how can you be ahead of the trend?
So it really is in the current ecosystem. If you're not keeping up, you're falling behind. If you're not staying ahead of the curve, you're falling behind. So with that, how can you keep up with the trends? Is that you have to constantly be connecting with the community and be crowdsourcing information, and like you're saying, hand raising. I think that hand raising is a big one. And that's why I love conferences. And I love getting to see people in real life and breaking down some of those barriers, because it allows you to connect in an unfiltered sort of way to say what's actually working for you.
Not
Because
only
this might not have
that,
worked for me. Uh-huh.
what it does for me to go to conferences is to be able to take that break, gather information, but also those days away help me to put things in perspective. And
Mm-hmm.
because I'm breaking the from what I do every day and the same jobs, or this, which is never the same for me, but anyway, I can say, oh, looking at this in perspective, and with this new information, I could be doing this and this and that. So my team is always afraid when I come back, because, oh my God, what did she find? What she's gonna implement this time?
I love that though, and I feel like you will relate to this when I say that the best ideas come from when you close the computer sometimes and take that step away from your screen and go out into the universe, into the retail verse, and see firsthand and connect firsthand with what other people are doing, and and crowdsourcing that information, because there's no other avenue to get access to 2,500 of the brightest minds, the best and brightest minds in the industry in one place. And
So
how can you capitalize on that moment in time? And that's what I love about it too.
Also, what I love is that you end up making friends in the industry. And it's so nice. What to me was a break in my life that I stopped talking about mommy things. I say, I don't want to talk about those things anymore. I want to talk about business. I want to talk
Yeah.
about things that I'm passionate about. Of course, I'm passionate about my kids, but honestly, I don't care what other kids do.
Yeah. I get that exactly, and it's just you get wrapped up in the day to day of it all. So it's just nice to hear too, and I think that you get stuck inside sometimes. I know that I'm a culprit of this myself, inside of your company bubble, and you have just connecting with those same minds over and over again, which is absolutely great, and that's how a team is formed. But the best and most powerful strategies at an event come from a team coming and dividing and conquering. You go on the social commerce track, you go on the email marketing track, you check out the search track, and then let's all come together at lunch and take our brain power because we already know we work well together. Let's take the brain power and let's connect on what we just learned as well. And I think that there's also opportunity for that internal learning. Like you said, you come back to your team and you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm so inspired. But I think that happens too on site, actually, which is very cool to see.
Oh, I would love to be
Yeah.
there, a fly in the wall at the eTail table and what all.
Yeah.
So, what do you learn? Because you were telling me that something really important that you guys do is after an event, you get together and with the learnings of the events to implement it in another. That it's
Mhm.
always the same thing I say about omnichannel strategies. You need to use your data and
Yeah,
sometimes even
exactly.
your gut feel, and then you need to use that information to make things work better.
Yeah. And I think that one of the biggest trajectory changes that the eTail brand is making, and it totally relates to your panel, is the big investment in video. It's something that we have put a lot of time and energy into within the last 90 days, 180 days, and we're seeing that investment pay off. And I think that that really resonated with me on the different topics that came up at eTail, where you have people like Christopher Berg from January Digital saying that he's recommending to clients that 80% of their content they're putting out be video content.
Yeah.
That is an insane amount to keep up with.
Uh,
And
I I'm I'm recommending very similar things these days.
really, you are. Yeah. And I get it because it's what the people want and they're listening to that customer data. And I think that that was a huge learning for me is that we actually, it's a reaffirming learning, which is nice. And then also figuring out that we can even ramp it up even more. You know,
Even we notice. Let me tell you even more. In my team, I have multimedia designers and designers, and in the last few years, with the amount of content we need to generate for our clients, we realize that we need more multimedia designers and editors than designers. The switch has been so big.
yeah, it's a huge pivot. And then if you even go onto LinkedIn, they have moved now the video from beta to part of
I
the
know.
navigation bar.
I
There,
know.
people are bullish, and I think that people actually were bullish on video a year ago, and now that's paying off. And now we're going all in, and seeing how different people are going all in, I think is also a very important part of the conversation.
But
And
I
you
think
get
the most important part about video is
Mhm,
that what is trending right now, it's being organic, it's being real, not
mhm.
so much editing, no so much stock image. Maybe you can use something to illustrate, but people want talking faces. You want to see who is talking to you.
Uh-huh. And from the TikTok panel, the gentleman from TikTok himself said
Yeah, Ross.
that Ross, yes, amazing. A guest speaker. I love it.
Yes,
Ross was saying himself that basically, like, you and I are not in charge of the algorithm on any given day, you know?
yes. Lena, I'm so sorry. I
You're
have
good.
a problem with the dog. Just a second.
Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Yeah, so in your TikTok panel, Ross was saying, and I thought that, and he's the gentleman that works at TikTok itself. So he
Yeah,
was
he's
saying,
from the fashion.
oh yeah, I love that. And you and I are not in control of what the platform serves us on any given day. So we're just not in control of the algorithm that we're seeing. You could only follow all the best practices by paying attention to the different creative people are doing, to paying attention to the data analytics, to testing new versions of UGC, of TikTok Shop, and using all of the recommendations that TikTok is giving you, and eventually they will start to work and add up, and it does make an impact for that organic social.
I'm going to say something that many people out there, they're not going to like me for what I'm going to say.
Okay, I'm ready.
And I'm partners with TikTok Shop. We're partners with, we work with all platforms basically, but you cannot forget that that is not your own media. It's media that you're borrowing. You're borrowing that space. You don't own what happened in TikTok. You don't own the narrative there. So what you need to make sure is that you don't put all your eggs in your basket, one basket.
I definitely hear that. And that's why the conversation of retail media networks is so absolutely huge right now, because I think that there are retailers that are tired of spending these huge level marketing dollars in Meta and TikTok. That's why they're investing more in their own retail media network
Yeah.
platforms. It's crazy.
Let
It's
me
just so
let
cool
me
to see
ask
the
you a
boom.
question, because
Uh-huh.
this is something that has been coming to me a lot, and as I've been talking to big brands, smaller brands, platforms, and people are changing the way the ecosystem work. Like before, many years ago, going PR strategy was something that it was relevant and important. And today, I feel like that is being less and less important to brands.
You know, when you're saying don't put all your eggs in one basket, I think that that could apply to many baskets. And I think that a lot of the best brands are reorganizing the the carton, if you will, because their traditional media mix is not working in the same way that the old media mix was. So where a typical investment in PR was making such an impact, it might not be the same level of impact or level of marketing spend, return on spend, as something like TikTok Shop. And that's why they are putting so many eggs in that type of basket. Or let's say, different
Yeah, but they
influencers.
also, and I was bringing this up because what
Yes,
was in
please.
part in the conversation of brands was I realized that I need to be in more shows, that I need to be using more budget. So they're deciding to cut a lot of that coming from PR budgets, but also they are cutting into other things to be part of these experiences, to network and to see what's out there in places like eTail that they will give them different kind of revenue streams by partnering with platforms and so forth that it will work for them.
So I'll counter that with a question, kind of a little devil advocate. Is you not being the face of Coffee Number Five, of the face of the DARL boutique agency, a part of PR in a way, and showing your face and being part of these conversations and taking the stage at different events even? It's a different, a new age form of PR
Yeah,
in a way, right? Right, like in a
it
way.
is. It's totally a new way to PR, but it's totally a new way. But it's
Yeah.
also about making relationships, and that
Uh-huh.
I, it's
It's
it's a very different approach. But
totally different.
But
It's
what I'm trying to put here is what feedback are you getting from the people, brands that they come to eTail? And because this is the feedback that I'm getting, I need to realize that my ROI is not coming from PR. I'm very disappointed of that. So I need to find new ways of bringing that ROI. And I use technology for that.
yeah.
So, and I use education. And that's why I need to create a special budget for events. What recommendation will you give? And what feedback do you get from brands that they come to eTail? And what recommendation you will give to brands? How important is for them to come to events and having these learning experiences and getting to meet platforms?
I will say this with complete and utter honesty, and I truly, truly believe this, that there is no other environment that you're able to do the technology shopping and save yourself time, hours and hours of time later on than at a conference. And it doesn't mean just eTail. I'm talking the
Yeah.
conference first. I love eTail. I ride for eTail. But in general, just putting yourself out there, start local. Start out with something local and dip your toe in the water of networking and community and building that community. Because I truly think on the conference on a floor, on an expo floor, with the amount of technology of people that have the best and brightest technology, there's no other way where you could go and shop this vendor and say, I'm looking to go in for a video tool, a UGC tool, and a data space organization tool where we are having too much data and we don't know where to put it. And I could spend an hour on the show floor and go around and get and check my boxes. And I think that that time spent at a conference is invaluable time saved later. So while 3 days might seem like a lot of time away from the desk, think of it as time to breathe, to think creatively, and to also save you days and days of time and strife later on.
This
Because
is
I think that that's the most important thing.
something that I've been working on myself with my team, with my clients lately is where is your time better used at? And it's not about, I'm quoting this book that I love, that is not about, it's who, not how.
I like that.
So it's a fantastic book. We'll put it in the chapter notes. But what I want to say is that why do I partner with certain technologies? Because I want to learn the best practice of that
Yeah.
technology. And I don't want to have 20 technologies that we know a little bit.
Mhm.
I talk to a lot of our partners that they tell us, yeah, well, there are people complaining that technology is not working. And it's not that it doesn't work, they don't know how to use it well, or they try to do it themselves. And so it's not a good combo. You just need to make sure that if you're going to use the technology, using the best of your ability. It's the same. I always tell my CEOs, like, you are a CEO, you have so much work to do as a CEO. Why are you spending half an hour doing an Instagram post? It's a waste
Yeah.
of your time.
Yeah. 100%. When there is so much technology available to chop things up for you and make it easier. And that's what AI is all about, and embracing that, where how are we using it? It's not replacing us. How are we using it to make our lives easier and to save us that precious time? And I think that that's where conferences and AI work really well together. It's all about saving time and saving money, honestly, too.
Yeah. How do you think that AI is going to be evolving? Because like 5 years ago, people were like iffy about AI. Then it became like a big thing. Do you think that it's going to still be a big thing, or is something that people assume that we're going to be using it in our everyday?
I think that AI will be adopted into the day to day. If it's not already is, I would say you are a little bit behind the curve.
Yeah,
And people, like retailers and technology innovators, should be utilizing the amount of technology available at our fingertips. I don't think that it's going to slow down. I think, if anything, it's taken off. And from last year, it went from talking about it, speculating about it, to this year. We even said in our eTail in the Spotlight newsletter, there were key solid use cases of retailers, brands, agencies, and tech companies using AI to speed up processes and to make things easier with data back behind it. Whether it's video, CRM, data management, whatever it may be, there's there's data now backing it up that makes it worthy of investment.
absolutely. Another thing that I want to talk, I mean, I was there in a conference and it was great. Be a moderator. It was a fantastic panel. I'm sorry you missed it, but
I
it
was
was
there. No, I saw it.
no, I'm talking to
I was like, I got to see
our
it. No,
people
I'm sorry
listening
that I'm
there. I
here.
mean, you were there. I know that. And it was a great, great panel talking to the people from TikTok and talking about TikTok and successful strategies. That is a very trending subject right now. But how important is, I mean, it's really important when you go to conferences to go to these talks because you're going to learn a lot from people's experiences. But when you match, I want to know the backstage, why you chose me as matching that one or not, and how you put your panels together. This is something that is really interesting to me.
Yes. So I have to give the panel curation credit to my wonderful production team who handpicks everyone that does participate and matchmakes in that way. Oh, but you had stood out to us by, first off, we are a big fan of the Coffee Number Five podcast and what you're doing and everything. And I thought that it would align because of the work you're doing at the agency. And I thought that you'd be
Yeah.
the perfect kind of person to ask and uncover some of these questions in the conversational way that we're having right now. Like you said, moderation and the content presented at the conference really can make or break a conference. And we
Yeah.
only like to put the best people out in front of our eTail audience.
Well, thank
And
you.
I
But
also just want to say too, if you did miss it, I would love to give all listeners an exclusive discount code. If you use eTail Partner, you can get 20% off your ticket for eTail Boston. where you'll be.
Oh, that's
And yeah,
great.
so yes, eTail partner, and we would love if, include it to your audience, but we'd love if you could join us. The show is August 11th to 14th.
Yeah,
So
well, so what can we expect there?
you can expect the revamping of the eTail Visionary Awards, which are about to launch, which will be special
Ooh.
awards given to different innovators in the industry, as well as different tracks on AI. We're going to have the AI Summit Day back, which is really, really, really exciting for us. And then you could expect everything from deep dives into video and social commerce, from new and improved search techniques and topics
Well,
to
see, search everywhere
yeah,
optimization.
search everywhere optimization. I love it. So it's really going to be a whole hullabaloo of retail expertise that you can expect. It's going to be a big fun show.
So there are 2 days just in Boston, downtown Boston. Where
It's
is it?
4 days in downtown Boston.
Ooh, fun.
Yes.
Okay, guys, get ready, and it's gonna be fantastic. Summer
It's
day
going to
in
be a fun time.
Boston.
Yep. Good time. Maybe we go to Fenway, catch a
Ooh,
baseball game. It'll be a good time.
yes. Well, thank you so much, Lena, for having coffee with me. I really, really enjoyed this conversation as much as enjoy my time in eTail.
Thank you so much for having me. I
Cycling.
can't wait to have you back. I love being connected. I'm glad you're an e-tailer.
Okay. Thank you, guys. And it was so nice to have you again here having coffee with us. And I will see you next week with more coffee number 5.
Find everything you need at laraschmoisman.com or in the episode notes right below. Don't forget to subscribe. It was so good to have you here today. See you next time. Catch you on the flip side. Ciao, ciao.